Okay, so like now we're alive, are we?
Yes, yes, sir. Go ahead and introduce yourself, and everybody, please enjoy the run. Let's see some awesome Pac-Man.
Okay, so there we go. Hello everybody, GhostSenpai here. And it's not supposed that I was gonna run this at these hours of the night, but I was asked by SU staff if I was able to do this. And since I'm a really good person and sometimes I don't care about my sleep schedule, I say yes, go ahead. And this is Pac-Man World, classic PS1 game. The time is gonna begin in a bit. So I'm just gonna make sure that I have that on my side. There we go. First. The time began, so I press that cross button on the start. So 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, so let's begin with this. Categories or levels. I'm gonna be explaining that in a bit. The first thing we are gonna be introduced is the movement mechanic in this game, which is the zigzagging, which is basically to match up, left, up, right up, right down, and vice versa. Because with this, it's gonna look like if Pac-Man has a kind of seizure or something like that. But the threat about this is that for some reason, Pac-Man's speed gets increased when we move really quick on diagonal. That's gonna be the reason why Pac-Man is gonna be looking like that during all the... We began here at Buchanan Beach, which is a kind of introduction stage, just to understand the basic stuff, the basic gameplay of the game. That's why we see all of those hand signals. Here I was trying to make a little skip. I failed a little bit. I need to concentrate a bit because I used to have problems trying to do this, because the real way to move up on this is that there's a platform where I need to perform these dashes and a wall is gonna be open. A gate is gonna be open, so in this case I don't need that, so I just simply can do that little out of bounds trick. But don't worry, we're gonna be having more of them later on the run. I don't know why I forgot that I need to deactivate I'm not having a memory card here. So in this case, every time that you complete stage, the game asks you if you wanna save. But now I have to choose the option to continue without saving, which I don't need to focus on the rest of the run into saving the game or something like that. Now we are at Porter Scope. This is gonna be the stage where we're gonna be collecting a key in order to rescue one of the Pac-Man's friends. Because the all levels category is basically any person without major glitches. Because in the any person category, you break the game. And it's not required to complete these stages. It's basically all levels is in some way the intended any percent category by the developers. Well, the intended any percent route. But we're gonna be watching some little skits, some tricks also. This has its own something, so we're gonna be enjoying stuff like that later on the run. And in order to complete the game, we need to rescue all 6 Pac-Man friends. I don't know why I decided to get that checkpoint, it's really useless. So the objective of this category is, as the name suggests, to beat all the stages. And some stages are gonna have a key to rescue one of the Pac-Man's friends. Some stages have the friend. Some stages have both the key and the friend. So 90% you use to skip the stages where you don't find anything. I mean, the stages where there's no key or friend. But in this case, we are forced to play all of these stages. And also, if you collect the Pac-Man letters, you can access to a bonus round that is not required on this category. It's just something for the any percent, because due to that there's a glitch that we can use on our side in order to don't don't require to complete some stages. Crazy Canyoning, we're gonna be finding here the first Pac-Man friend, which is Puka from Dig Dug. And you're wondering, okay, why is there a Dig Dug character here? We're gonna be waiting until we can see Puka, and I'm gonna be explaining you that situation. And sometimes if you listen that my voice sounds a bit weird, it's because I'm trying to move my entire arm in order to make the zigzag. Because, well, depending on the person, it's gonna be the way that we're gonna be trying to zigzag. And how you're gonna find the best setup for that. So what I do is that I keep my left thumb over the D-pad of my controller, and then I try to swing my right arm in order to move the controller and be able to perform this zigzagging. Because otherwise the movement speed without the zigzag is really slow. So in the Pirate Zone, which is the first of the six sections of the game, this is like a kind of a tutorial world in order to understand the basics of the game, about what is the point of getting the fruits, because you can open some doors with that, you can activate some switches that are gonna give to you some specific things on the game, and a lot of related things that we're gonna be watching later on the run. And something good also about the game is that your life meter is based on pieces of health. So this is not a platforming game where once you receive damage you die. You can receive up to 3 hits without dying, and collecting this pieces of health are gonna help you to keep alive. So obviously without any piece of health, that means that you receive your 4 hit, you are done. You die and you need to be careful. And we have here Puka, this little red enemy from Dig Dug, that he wishes to be able to have Pac-Man in his hands, and then he realizes that he doesn't have hands. That's something interesting. So if you're wondering why Puka is here, let me explain you this. For now, HMS Windback, the first boss of the game. All levels is the only category where you play the boss stages. Even on 100%, you don't play them. You use the same strat used on any percent to skip stages in order to skip these boss stages on the 100% category, because this stages has nothing. But in order to be able to access the second half of the island, you need to complete all 3 zones, because the island is divided into 2. So each section has 3 walls. No, it's divided into 3 sections. So now after this first section with nothing interesting to mention about that, just try to escape and you're gonna be safe. Okay, 3, let's do it. And we have now the boss of the zone, which is gonna be this ship that is gonna be throwing to us, or he's gonna be shooting to us some cannonballs, so we need to try to make some damage against it. And the way we're gonna be doing this is that we need to press the switches, which are gonna activate these things that are gonna make that you can take back you can send back the cannonballs to the ship. So, okay, now I'm gonna have time to talk about this, because the next section, it's really boring. This Cavern is a really boring stage. It's a pretty long one without nothing interesting here to mention, so we have a good amount of time to talk about and stuff related to the game, and also we're gonna have a little gap of time in order to let the host makes any announcement related to the marathon. So if you're wondering why Puka is in the game, it's because when Namco was designing the game, and they decided to have 6 islands, but then they realized they just have 5 characters from Pac-Man universe. So they say, okay, we can use another character from any other of our franchises, right? And they decided to include Puka. That's why we have Puka in the game. And yes, this is like the Namco Cinematic Universe. But this is not just the only interesting thing about the game. We're gonna be watching something later on the run, so keep an eye on this, because if you are like me, you're gonna like what you're gonna be watching later on the run. So the plot of the game is that this game was released in 1999 because in the year 2000, the first arcade Pac-Man game was gonna turn 20 years old. And on last year, the game turned 40 years old, so yes everybody, we are getting old. And due to that, going back to the plot of the game, so the Pac-Man friends decided to organize a little party in Pac-Man's house. And before I can continue with the history of the game, we're gonna make here a little skip just to save 30 seconds. Well, we can ignore that. That wasn't on purpose. Sometimes you can fail that skip, because what I'm gonna be doing is that we're gonna skip a kind of a puzzle here, which is gonna let us do a save 30 seconds. I don't know what I'm not getting this, so this is bad. This is really bad because... Okay, I have some extra lives. Something I need to mention is that it's gonna be really dangerous if I die in the game, because in order to continue I need to save the game, and I'm not saving the game. So let me see. Okay, there we go. This is a little out of bounds trick I was trying to do, and I failed it twice in a row. I don't know why I failed this twice. Usually if you fail this, you fail just one time, but maybe, I don't know, marathon luck in order to fail this twice. So with this, I have skipped a little maze, which is required that you go to the top of the screen. You need to get a fruit. Well, you need to get a fruit, then you need to go to the top of the screen, open a door, activate the switch that's gonna let us to swim on that section. So with this, we can skip all of this and just consider if we have in mind that I have died and we gladly can ignore that, we can say that we have saved like 30 seconds. And that's just a little piece of a little small thing about the things that we're gonna be watching later on the run. A Manic Mind, the second stage of this second section of the game, the rooms, which has both Pac-Man, Key, and friends. This is the only section of the game where we have 3 stages. The reason behind that is because there was a third stage in development, but Namco was running out of time to work on it, so they decided to squish what they have done in 2 stages. So that's the reason why these stages are going to be one of the most longest in the game. And also why Chris's Cavern is a pretty boring stage. So getting back to the topic, on Pac-Man's house there was a little party that was organized with Pac-Man friends, but then each of their friends began to get kidnapped. And when Pac-Man came back to his home after work, he discovered that his house is a real mess. So obviously he's sad in his birthday. But then he found out, thanks to some invitations that were outside of his home, that there was a party in Ghost Island where you can meet the real Pac-Man live and in person. So obviously Pac-Man knew that something was bad in this, and then we get a notice that on Ghost Island there's a big robot called Pacman, who is trying to impersonate Pac-Man. So he ordered to the other ghosts to kidnap him, but obviously they failed. And now that Pac-Man has arrived to Ghost Island and I have touched the checkpoint, I have died there. That's a good and interesting way to die here. I haven't died before like that. I think that's the first time that I have died like that. And now that Pac-Man is in Ghost Island, the ghosts are gonna try to stop him from rescuing his friends. So that's why we're here and we're trying to rescue everybody. So here I don't have nothing interesting to mention for like a minute, so if the host has any announcement related to the marathon I want to do, this is a good moment for it. Otherwise I'm just gonna try to pretend that I'm getting focused, just to don't say that I have nothing to talk about the game. Because also in this section we can skip a bunch of these things with the 6 seconds. I don't need it to activate those switches, so we're fine with this. That tornado can be a big mess up sometimes. Yes, H is just a number. I know which meme you try to use. Who do you think you are dealing for? Yeah, there's a high chance that something bad happens if I try to mention which joke was that, so I'm just gonna pretend that I haven't said nothing. Yes, and this summon sections is a bit boring also to move. Because up to this date I keep wondering who was the big genius that thought that including water on a video game was gonna be something really cool. So we're gonna get close to another section where we're gonna be saving like a minute. Because there's another maze here, another puzzle that you need to complete in order to get the key. Because here we're gonna be rescuing the pack dog. That again, I forgot the name of the dog, but it's just a dog in Pacman's universe. I'm gonna get here an extra life because there's a chance that I can die. It's not supposed that I have received damage here because we're gonna be doing a damage boosting movement. Because what we're gonna be doing is this. I need to activate this trap. This thing's gonna start to move, so I just need to... Okay, that was bad. There we go. Because what I need to do is just to get this key. Because it's supposed that first we need to go to the section where the dog is, we need to activate a switch, we need to catch a banana, some bananas, and then we need to open that door with the bananas and that moving platform is gonna spawn. But we're speedrunners, we play the game with our own rules, so we don't need to do that. So instead of that, we just make that damage boosting and we release the pack. I also never completed the Galaxy Zone when I was a kid. I wasn't able to beat this game until I was a man, an adult. Maybe I think I'm gonna go for some water on a bit because I feel that my tongue's a bit dry, I don't know why. So this is what Manic Minds, and now it's time to move to Anubis Rex, which is a really tricky stage. So in case that I mess up things, I'm gonna quit this stage and I'm gonna be completing the Space Zone first. Because once I complete that section of the game, I'm gonna gain a good amount of 1-ups. So I'm just gonna try to do this one at a time. If I see that I run out of lives, I'm gonna quit this directly and I'm gonna try to complete the space section first. Because it's not supposed that I have died on the first stage twice. Because in this section you wanna try to get as much life as you can. Because something I was mentioning before but I haven't completed to mention is that if I die, I can continue in the game, but I need to use a save file, and I don't know where I have left my memory cards. I should look for my memory cards, mostly for marathons. So if I die here, since I'm not saving the game, that's gonna be really bad, because what is gonna happen is that I need to start the game again, so hopefully nothing like that's gonna happen. We have the first kid. And this boss has 4 phases. So this second phase, and the first phase was the easy one, we got nothing. But now we have this black tornado. That the game decided to mess up my movement there, so I need to start again. Sometimes when you complete these phases, some pieces of health or extra lives are gonna spawn, so I'm gonna hope that some extra lives spawn because I really need to get one. And I was going to be quick in order to destroy these hearts because okay, no extra lives, this is bad. And this is not the phase that I needed to look for because Here, you need to go on a specific route in order to complete this. You want to be quick, but I'm gonna try to do this safe. So I'm gonna hope that we can get an extra life. Also, again, I need to be really quick in order to... Okay, there's a one. I'm gonna wait for this laser beam. Well, I need to begin with this other section. I needed to do this first. So on the hardest free with the 4 switches, I need to be as quick as I can, trying to hit the hard. Otherwise, what is gonna happen is that the fists of Anubitrex are gonna get close again. I'm doing this slow because I wanna be a bit safe. I don't wanna die. And I was close to die there, and I died. Okay, it's fine. I'm just gonna do this safe. I'm just gonna keep quiet for now. So again, if an announcer has something to mention, this is a good opportunity for that. I don't know if I have this about muted. Oh, I don't have it. Yeah, it's a bit stressful, this boss. I mean, casually talking, it's a real problem to beat this stage. So now I'm gonna be a bit safe because I'm close to die. That tornado hasn't cooperated with me, so I need to wait for another cycle of this. And this is a real problem because I'm playing on the American version, which is this was the first released version. And at the same time, we can consider this as a harder version of the game. Because every time that you get out of a stage or you complete a stage, your health gets refilled. Okay, I'm gonna quit the stage. I'm gonna go directly for the last section of the game. I knew that I should have done this before, but I wanted to play a bit. Okay, I don't know why the camera is like that. Why the camera is far away? I don't know why the camera was far away, but I'm gonna complete this later on the run. So first I'm gonna do this save because again, if I die, it's game over. We don't want to compromise the run. And this was bad because I was having a decent pace. Because even my PV is bad. My PV is 1 hour, 15 minutes, and 11 seconds. So moving to the space zone, which is my favorite one. This is the third section of this first half of the island. So here we are at Space Race, nothing interesting on this stage. So let's talk about different versions of the game. So we're on the American version, which is in some way the most harder release. Because here, when you get out of the stage, even if you complete it or not, your health doesn't get refilled. The Japanese version is considered as the optimal because the Japanese version is more easier. The enemies has less health. In order to make the super shootings with the pack dots, you require less pack dots for it. There are more extra lives, there are more checkpoints, and stuff like that. So again, here we have another maze section that is gonna take to like 30 seconds, but doing some jump like that, we can go out of bounds and we don't need to complete that little maze / boss. I don't remember when was the last time that I made this backup route. It has been a long time. But I don't want it to compromise the run. I mean, my estimate is 1 hour 25 minutes, so I have all of this considered on the run. I don't know why the game decided to save if I was on the Until I was calculating the continue option. Oh, okay, I see. Okay. So now, this is far out. This is the stage where we get both the key and Pacman's friend. Here we're gonna be rescuing Professor Pac. And on the any person run, this is the last stage you complete of the section. But again, all levels means all levels. Oh, come on. So here's the section where we're gonna be getting both the key and friends. But what we need to do here is that we're gonna be pressing this switch that is gonna spawn this rotating platform, and we need to go. But we need to have a good timing for this. And once I go back, I'm gonna be doing some damage boosting because you need to activate that switch. This other one is gonna spawn. You need to press this other switch, then another switch is gonna spawn on the floor. And once you press that switch, the key is gonna be. So here I'm just gonna make a little damage boosting because I'm gonna get my Elder Field anyways. And on that percent route, you quit the stage at this point because it's kind of weird the way that this game acts with your friends and all that stuff, because you just required to save your friends in order to progress in the game. So yes, I really love when I receive damage like that. Here's an extra one on that I'm gonna catch just in case. I'm gonna receive damage on a bit, or maybe not. Yes, I received damage. But it doesn't matter here because this is the last section of the stage. It's about that if I press that switch, we're gonna be having a little maze that we need to complete with some ghosts and packets, but it's not very fun. So we just can go straight and complete the stage without problem. Gimme Space, the third stage of the game, and again another boring stage where there's nothing. And again, American version, horror version of the game, where I don't get my Elder Field. I think there's a piece of health here. It's gonna be a bit helpful. It's not risky, this first section of the game, so I'm not so worried about the fact that I don't have my health full at full state. So to keep going here. There we go, we got this box skip, which just saved like a second, but it's something. Now we need to activate this both of the switches when we're having some ghosts and backdot that we can collect, or we just simply can go to the light and move to the next section. I decided to hear sideways because since I was running out of health, I just wanted to get some extra pieces of health because it's supposed that you need to make some damage boosting here, but I need to refill my health just to be safe. Here I just need to complete this section and I'm gonna be reaching the end of the stage. And we have these little platforms that are gonna be shrinking. And suppose that on that point I should be dead, but the game doesn't like that. And now my favorite boss, King Election. So if you're like me and you like a lot of retro stuff and on any kind of references, guess what? You're gonna be loving this. You're gonna really like this. So I'm not gonna explain this until the end of the stage. So try to see which reference or which tribute we are having here right now. And I'm gonna keep quiet because soundtrack is amazing. So let's enter it. And also the reason why this is the backup is because here you can gain a lot of fruit. And the fruit gives you points, and the most points you get, the most extra lives you're gonna be getting. So for newcomers in the game, you don't have enough lives at a novice Rex, it's better just to skip a novice Rex and complete the space section first. Because here you're gonna be gaining a lot of lives. Yeah, there was a crowd control race, and I think there are more crowd control runs later on the marathon. You can check the schedule. Even there's a lot of amazing runs. There are a lot of them. And also, this is something really important. I need to get that checkpoint just in case. And another problem this game has is that speedrunning talking, you can lose like 3 minutes if you die, because the last section, which is gonna be the fight against the boss, is a kind of well, this section of the game, this first section of the stage is a kind of focus color anyways, but also it's a bit slow the way that you defeat the boss. And after a little Galaga stage, we have King Election. So the way that I'm gonna be trying to defeat this boss is that first it's gonna try to attack to us, then we can destroy their eyes. So first I'm gonna try to destroy the eyes on the corner, because those ones uses to keep outside of the screen for a good amount of time. And obviously, every time that I destroy an eye, I'm gonna have a health refill. Plus, the enemies that are gonna spawn are... Okay, that was bad. It's supposed that I should have destroyed the eye on the corner. So this is gonna be a bit slow. As if this hasn't been really slow up to this point. So every time that new enemies appears, these enemies are a bit harder to defeat. The worst ones are the enemies that I have a kind of shield. I shouldn't be receiving damage! Okay, this is bad. Focus time. And also my... Okay, here we're gonna be losing again 3 minutes. Well, like 2 minutes, I think. And for some reason, my console was skipping the CD audio tracks. Okay, this is bad because on the boss fight you need to be really careful with the laser beams. I knew that this run was gonna be a real mess up because I haven't touched this game since like 2 months ago, and I made it to Rust some hours ago. And what happened during the Rust is that the run was decent, was just 3 minutes ahead of my TV. So when I get a run like that, that means that my next run is gonna be bad. Again, I have all of these things considered in my estimate. I think that now I should be like 3 or 4 minutes ahead of my TV, so I'm still having a 6-minute window. But I hope that I don't need to use. And also, if I'm not quick enough, King Alexander is gonna try to grab me. And my desk is in a decent condition. My console is the one that is messing up the CD audio tracks right now, so I'm sorry about that. Because that's another thing that I want to mention. That for some bosses we have dope CD audio tracks because again it's a PlayStation game, so most games based on CDs. Some games based on CDs use it to have this kind of soundtrack, CD audio tracks, where you can put the CD audio. Well, you can put the game disc and a CD audio player. You are gonna be able to listen to some of these tracks. But this is the case with this game. In hard situation, I'm gonna really focus. I'm gonna get really focused on yourself. Time to try to get concentrated. I'm gonna be quiet. We can enjoy these CD audio tunes performed by a broken PS2. There we go. And I got some extra ones. But I cannot go to the second section of the island yet because we need to defeat another Drakes. And also about my PS2, you have not, if you were when I began with my run, you will notice that on the intermission screen we got a good amount of time there before we were able to begin with the run. That was because my PS2 was giving me issues and decided to download the game just because it doesn't want to load the game. So I was so close to drop my run due to that, but I was able after some attempts in order to make that my console read the game and to buy another PS2. So if you wanna help me with some donations for that, don't do it and donate to No Kid Hungry. Remember that all donations are for a good cause. And also, the few money I have for a new console, I'm gonna be donating on later on the week, later on the marathon. So remember that if you wanna help kids in order to enjoy a hot and good meal, you can contribute with any amount of money with any donations, and also any subscription you make to the channel, or any subscription you give, or any bits that you give to the channel. All of that revenue are gonna go directly to No Kid Hungry, the No Kid Hungry organization. So for more information, you can use the NKH command. It's gonna bring to you anything related to the event, the schedule. Also, the command schedule is gonna give you the schedule of the marathon. And also, some runs have good donation incentives. For example, my scheduled run of Snowboard is gonna happen on early Sunday. It has the sombrero percent incentive, which is basically that I'm gonna be using a big sombrero on my run. That sombrero gives me speedrunning powers, so I'm gonna be able to run the game properly. So if you wanna help me in order to get a decent snowboard run, you can donate in order that I can use that big sombrero, and we can enjoy a funny big sombrero during my run, while you're helping to contribute to the No Kid Hungry organization to bring hot meals to kids. Doesn't matter that Harper's gonna stay here. You know that really cares. And now I remember why I was doing here a big mistake, because it's supposed that the switch on the left, the first one, is the one that I need to activate. So I'm gonna die here, not on purpose. That was accidentally, but I prefer to receive damage there, trying to activate this. My timing wasn't good. Because also you can skip that tornado. You have a good timing with your jumps. Also the laser beams, but I have more problems trying to skip the laser beam. Like in that situation, for example. There we go. The Galaga theme as a boss, well, the Galaga remix that we got on King Galaxian is really good. The only problem is that my console messes up the CD audio track sometimes. It's broken. Okay, I was gonna search at the first stage, like if I were on a normal run. But now we're able to access to the second section of the island. Gonna be the phone house section. So here we're at plowing around again, and a stage that has nothing interesting, but that we need to complete because again this is all levels, which means that we need to complete all the game. And so you will notice that on boss fights, except for the first boss, we have CD out the tracks, but there's gonna be something interesting to mention on this boss stage specifically. Well, on the boss stage of this section, I'm gonna be telling later on the run. But again, let's pretend that I'm getting focused. And here we have a little out of bounds trick. Because again, it's supposed that we need to complete a little puzzle just to make that stairs coming down. But if we do some bouncings and some zigzagging, we can get a bit out of bounds and we can reach that section without being on the necessity of completing that puzzle. And also, you have noticed on this 3D Pac-Man game, Pac-Man has some kind of physics similar to a ball. So I highly recommend to everybody to look on YouTube for the King Galaxian boss theme. It's really good. But my console just decided to mess up the CD out the tracks, unfortunately. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't happen. Like on my dear Rust some hours ago, it worked perfectly. I don't know why it hasn't worked right now. Maybe because I was having some problems with my console trying to read the game. Now we are here at Barred Blast, a classic stage where where most of my runs die, not because something bad happens. Well, it depends about how you want to consider it, but I used to forget that I need to get the key here because you need to do a little damage boosting in order to save time when you get the key. And after I make damage boosting, I forgot to go for the key, and then when I am on the next stage, which is Spin Dizzy, I realized that I forgot the key. Hopefully that's not gonna be a thing, so please, on the next stage, when I reach this section, when I'm gonna be telling everybody that I'm gonna get the key, please type that on chat, get the key, because otherwise there's a high chance that I can forget it. And this is not a joke. I used to forget to get that. So also, if we're using the crumble, this steam doesn't affect to us. So now let's see if we can get this skip here. Oh god. And I got it on my first attempt when I derusted this. I don't know if this is like a kind of golden rule on any speed game. I need to go a bit to the left because I need to trigger the loading point of the game. Because the way that this game works in order to load the elements of the stage is that this game loads everything per chunks. So once you reach some specific spots, it's gonna start to load the rest of the stage. Meaning that if I open this cover, I can prevent that the game loads the next section. For a specific stage on the next section of the island, that was a strategy used on the game before, but now that's banned. So instead of that, we have a cool out of bounds trick that when it wanna work, it works. But again, another little surprise that we're gonna be watching later on the run. So I need to be careful here because the damage boosting is gonna come on a bit. Section is gonna come on a bit, so please remind me that I need to get the key. Thank you. Because in order to get the key, I need to grab a bell that is right there, but I need to activate the switch first. That what it's gonna make is that first I need to activate the switch, which is this blue switch right here. And well, I'm gonna, in order to make that damage boosting, I need to get the checkpoint. And it's not supposed that I should have received damage there, so it's time to be more careful right now. Okay, thanks, Cyber. I was gonna do that, but just with 5 seconds or something like that. A little torch I was gonna do. Okay, getting back to the game, now I have the key. Which is gonna let me save Baby Pac on the next stage. I was gonna say the next one. That's the next stage. Okay, I need to wait a bit before the platforms. Something good about this platform is that I can keep bouncing on them and keep on the top, but there's nothing in front of me. So I can keep there and I can prevent that I die or something like that, but I need to be careful with my movements also. Spin dizzy. This is where we get a Pac-Man friend, which again is Baby Pac. Vamonos! We can skip all of this without problems. And I need to skip that checkpoint. The reason behind that is because there's another checkpoint here. So just in case that I die close to this, I prefer to spawn on the other section, otherwise I need to skip these clowns that are gonna be throwing some steam. So with this I can save some time just in case that I mess up things. So just get this checkpoint, and if I die, I'm gonna respawn there. And this is another interesting stage where we're gonna be watching how broken the game is. because we're gonna be skipping the section of the stage that is gonna prevent that the rest of the stage gets some movement, making the progression a bit easier. And also, I think that in the Japanese version, instead of having an extra life there, we have an additional checkpoint. Because again, Japanese version just is easier. At some point, I'm planning to buy a Japanese PS2 and a Japanese copy of this game. Fortunately, this game on a Japanese release is not expensive. But the American release of this game is a bit expensive anyways. But I got mine at a decent price, so I cannot complain about it. So this is the annoying section for me, where we're gonna be moving to these rotating platforms. I forget the name of those things. That's carrusel in Spanish. But I used to forget sometimes some words in English. Besides the fact that I used to play this a lot of marathons. So this is where the interesting thing is gonna begin. Because again, we need to do a little maze here in order to progress on the stage. After that, I'm just gonna come here and I'm gonna keep going straight. And with this, I have ignored a puzzle section in the game. So, since I haven't activated some things on the stage in order to progress, these platforms are gonna keep static, helping me a bit to complete this a bit easier. Plus, the clowns that are present here are not gonna be throwing steam. So again, this is not supposed that should happen. Everything should have movement and those platforms should be rotating, but again, since we skip some stuff, nothing like that's gonna happen. Like for example, with these clowns, they're not gonna be spawning this steam, so that skip makes things a bit easier. And now this is the tricky section for me, and I'm gonna lose a life here on purpose because I prefer to be here with a full life, because I'm really aware about what is gonna happen if I am low on health. Because this is annoying, because here we have like 3 levels that win 3 sections of this. Because first we need to spawn this, we need to press that switch, this moving platform is gonna start to move, and then the rotation of these platforms are gonna change. And those flying clowns are a big pain in your thumbs. Okay, I need to avoid catching that fruit. And the pack dots also. That's the last platform that we need to get. My PD, I have a good amount of lost time here, because I used to die on this section. But now I need to wait for this platform to come down, and there we go. This is the end of the stage, and we're gonna be rescuing Baby Pac. I don't know why I waited for the fill up health. If anyways, I was gonna get this without problems. So now, Clown Bricks. This is an interesting stage because it's the most annoying boss fight, or boss stage. Because we're gonna be having this race on bumping cars, and since there's no checkpoints, if I die at any point I need to start again with the race. The problem with this is that these clowns used to be really annoying sometimes. Plus, because at the same time, the controls are very slippery. So I really need to be careful with my movements here. The pack dots can help me to get some little boostings, but I'm not gonna be using that most of the track, just on specific spots. Because trying to get to move on this corpse is a real mess. It's a real problem sometimes because there's a high chance that you can bounce or that you cannot control properly the car, like that for example. It was close to die twice. So if I used to try to move slow all the time, just to try to be a bit safe. Once you reach the first place, the clowns are not gonna spawn, so that's like something really helpful. I'm getting the pack that's for the last section of the stage, because there are no walls in most of this track, so it's really easy to fall down. Actually, talking, this is a real mess also. And there we go, Pac-Man wins. Peterless Pipes, the 5th section of the stage, and my favorite talking about the skips that you can do in the game. We're gonna break the game a bit more, and we're gonna skip some interesting sections on starting on the next stage. So again, this is a stage that has nothing, so just can skip it directly without problems if it is were any percent. But this is all levels, so we need to enjoy this. What I like about the levels categories is that this is the only category where you can play the boss stages. Because again, 100% all of you skip them. This is a very broken game. I want to learn the any percent route at some point. And when I get a Japanese PS2 and a Japanese copy of this game, I'm gonna be trying to learn 100% because the Japanese version can save you like 50 minutes. Because for the 100% on international versions, you need to complete the marathon mode, which is a game mode where you unlock all Pac-Man mazes, all Pac-Man modern mazes, and you need to complete all of them. There are a total of 36, and that takes to you like 50 minutes in a summary. But in the Japanese release, that's not required for the 100%. And the American version is just good for any percent, just for the fact that your life doesn't get refilled. Because sometimes when you begin a stage and you die, you know, to activate some glitches. Something good about this stage is that this is not so long, so it's not a big pain to complete. And also it's really interesting, so boring at all. This is not boring at all, fortunately. Maybe this is one of my favorite stages, talking about stages where you don't get nothing, when there's no key or friend. Moving on, we have Under Pressure, and if you're like me, maybe I get guitar or well, a bass riff is sounding on your head right now after I mentioned the name of the stage. We're gonna be having here an interesting out of bounds trick, because again, swimming on the water is really slow, and there's a section where we need to swim under the water. But we're gonna be skipping that later on the run. Remember that all the money you contribute in this event are gonna go directly to the No Kid Hungry organization. We are waiting for crowd control things. That's something really good because there are more crowd control races later and solo runs later on the month. It's definitely gonna be really interesting. And also, this is one of my favorite songs on the game, talking about regular stages music. And also with the modern mazes, we have also CD audio tracks, so this song is uncompressed on a CD audio track, so you can enjoy it. Something I forgot to mention when I was doing Clown Pricks is that as you have to listen, the song is compressed. But if you put this the CD game on a CD audio player, you're gonna be able to listen to the uncompressed version of the track as a CD audio track. So for now, there's a theory that the boss stage from Funkhouse section was gonna be different, because since the game needs to keep loading the stage during all the race, that's why the compressed version is used. You can listen to the uncompressed version as a regular CD audio track. So there's a theory that maybe the stage was different, but I think that for now there hasn't no beta version of the game with that stage has been found. So I don't know, I'm a bit curious about how this stage was planned to be. And here we have the outbound section, because it's supposed that we need to fall down. Not like that. Okay, it's fine. It's still having a good amount of life, so I'm not worried anyways. Because it's supposed that we need to go down and swim there. But what I'm gonna be doing is that I'm gonna keep bouncing, because there's a specific section where I need to... It doesn't matter. I need to keep bouncing, because otherwise I'm gonna slip down. So this is the section where I was needed to be. Now once I reach this section and I came here, I'm gonna swim down, and I'm gonna try to be just in the middle of these blocks, outside of them, because with this I'm gonna trigger the next loading point. Then I go outside of the water, moving to the right, I do this again, and I have skipped all the underwater section. I think that this saves like between 30 to 60 seconds, I don't remember the exact amount, but with that I can skip entirely the swimming section going out of bounds. I need another piece of health. Yeah, crowd control is amazing. But it's more amazing when people donate for that. Mostly for a good cause like this. If you want to contribute for a good cause, but you want to troll the runners, crowd control runs are really good for it. Also, you can donate for any of the incentives that this merchant has, and also you can get some good prizes when you enter directly to some raffles to get some amazing prizes. Ooh, there's a button there. What happened if I press it? Okay, I'm out of it. I'm out of here. I'm not guilty. Yes, try to get a piece of health, but at the same time receive damage. And lose it. That's a classic. Sometimes there's a glitch there where the enemy began to make us damage, even without touching them. But also there's a chance that we can get that glitch on the next stage, which is down the tubes. Hopefully nothing about that's gonna happen. So, down the tubes, here we have both key and friend. And the way that we're gonna be getting the key is gonna be really interesting. Because if you remember what I have said some levels ago, I mentioned that this game loads everything per chunk, so in the past this cover was opened in order to manipulate the game and prevent that some sections of it began to load. So with that we can go directly for the key. But after that was banned, some new strats were found for it, so that's like something. And I need to have some help here because we're gonna perform a little damage boosting here. And I'm gonna die here on purpose again because in the next section I need to try to keep my health at full because the ghosts that are gonna appear are a bit troll. So there's a chance that I can die. But not like that. Okay, I need to keep my health right now because there's no pieces of health next here. Forget what I have said. Let's take some risks anyways. And that section is supposed that I do open the Discover, but that's not allowed anymore. So how suppose that we're gonna be doing this? Well, with this inconsistent setup. So let's RNG in order to get this. What I need to do is I need to come to a specific spot and then press the up button. And once I clip, I need to go for that corner and press up and right. I know that I've reached the correct corner because it starts to push me back. So we got 2 attempts here. The third attempt. This is pretty inconsistent, but this is the only way to do this. No! Almost, I was close to getting it. No, that was some bad luck, yeah. But remember, guys, you wanna get the key, on this case the bell, in order to enter to that cute girl heart, and you cannot get it, just do what Pacman is doing. Not like this, obviously. It's gonna be hard anyways, but you need to try to. You just need to try to go out of bounds. Why does this work? I don't know. Just let's say that the game is really broken in physics. And there we go. So since now I don't have health, I need to be careful. And also I need to skip the checkpoint that is. I'm gonna wait for that ghost. I'm a bit scared about what am I doing here. Because here I need to press this switch, then I need to get the key, and I need to die. Because with this I'm gonna go back here, and I haven't grabbed the checkpoint, because otherwise the water was gonna rise up. And was gonna make it a bit slow that I went down in order to complete the stage. So with this, I don't need to do the complete maze that was gonna take between 2 to 3 minutes to complete. Because you need to swim to some specific sections in order to get the bell, and then you need to come back, and it's really boring to do that. And there we go. It was decent, it wasn't bad at all. So I don't complain about that. And Chrome Keeper. There's a big difference here comparing this with the Japanese version, because in the Japanese version this boss has just 6 pieces of health. In the American release it has 8, so it's gonna take more time to defeat this guy. What we need to do is that we need to get these Chrome balls in order to press those switches that are hot, because they're spawning some steam. So we can press the switches like this, but we're gonna be receiving damage. So the reason why we get the combo is just to avoid this. But this is also something that I need to be careful about this, because we have those magnets on the top. And again, bad laser on the console messing up the CD of the tracks. have to be careful with the magnets for obvious reasons. I prefer to move here a bit, let's say. And once I press all those 4 switches, this switch in the middle is gonna spawn. And I need to press it. In that case, the crumble effect was gonna disappear soon, so it wasn't like a big problem to get stuck on that magnet. From here, cajita. Domo. And also, once you press the first switch, you need to be really quick, because there's an internal countdown, and after some seconds, all buttons respawn. So you need to do this again. And also, if I were playing the Japanese version, I should have probably this boss fight here, but again, Riker has more help for this boss. The Japanese people, well, Namco thought that for Japanese people, this was gonna be something really, really long and moving. Oh! Okay, this is bad. I don't think I'm gonna do this on time. Yes, I haven't done this on time. That's another problem, because if you get stuck on the magnets, it's really complicated to get out of it. You need to match your buttons all the time. Dude, why is this happening to me? I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait. There we go. Get busted. Now we're gonna move to the last section of the game, which this section doesn't get loaded unless you rescue all 5 Pac-Man friends. Because in the past there was past attempt in order to skip all of this, because it's supposed that if you can skip everything without needing to complete any stage. There was a test attempt in the past based on that, but they realized that a test like that was something impossible, because if you don't have all 5 Pac-Man friends up to this point, the last section of the game doesn't get loaded. So here we are at Ghostly Garden, a stage where there's nothing interesting again. And something bad about these last stages is that they are really long. This is gonna be like a 119 pace, 120. And I was gonna die interesting. The most annoying enemies here are the bats. Fortunately, in these sections are not a big problem, but later on the run, they are a big headache. But again, something that I like about this is that there's a good amount of places where you can get some extra lives and pieces of health. I knew that I skipped that checkpoint that wasn't on purpose. So I need to be careful here. And guess what? I forget I need to press the switch. Let's go down, let's go up. The in letter from Pacman. And just in case you were wondering, this is my controller. Because who needs analog sticks? I don't need that extra life, but again, I have this problem on any game that I run, that if there are additional elements that are not required, I'm gonna try to catch them. So here, I'm gonna try this until I die. It's a pretty tricky skip. It doesn't matter. Here I was trying to perform a little skip that it's really complicated to get. Even on a top level, it's really a big problem to get this thing. And also Pac-Man rolls like a ball, so in the heels I need to be careful. Because this isn't in the way that you need to get the peach and then open this section, because on the outbound streak you spawn like in this section, but it's really complicated to get it. To put that, I needed to get the crumble there because I was gonna avoid some damage I was gonna receive, but since I have captured it already, it's not gonna be there, so the next section is gonna be a bit slow. Because those walls are gonna start to spawn over me. And that happens. When you have the crumble, those walls just pushed you. And they make you damage for literally no reason. Sometimes on this live, I don't know why I do some things, but I think that we're gonna be running out of the estimate, unfortunately. Come on! I got the right time for that! I have timed that correctly. I don't know why the game is trolling me right now. It's really hard. But also I know that we're a bit ahead on the schedule, so I'm just gonna clarify this in case that I get out of estimate and we need to perform a mercy kill just in order to don't make the Martin gets more behind. I can do that without problems. And this is not the intended way to do this, but it doesn't matter that I have that here. Sometimes I can get through that door in order to come back to this section. But it doesn't matter that I have that. I have a good amount of lives, plus I was close to check. And here on Creepy Catacombs, this is where you get. I don't know if that's like a kind of golden rule on any speed game, on any game that receive a speed run, that when you get a good run, the next one is gonna be really awful. Well, the next character we're gonna be saving is not like a friend, but it's a character from Pac-Man universe. In this case, it's gonna be Miss Pac-Man. Fortunately, Great Danger, the next stage is pretty short. It's gonna be like a 126, 127, something like that. Maybe from this last section of the island, this is my favorite stage because it's really short. There's a piece of health. No, there's Another problem that this game has is that your vision is kinda trolled. So what I do is that I try to follow some specific patterns on the screen based on the textures of the game in order to see where did I need to move. Here I'm gonna be using this bell, not on the intended door. There's a piece of help here. Because here basically the reason why this is being really fast or well, why this stage is being really short is because I'm skipping most of the mazes we need to complete. So it's not supposed that I use this bell here, but I get access to the last door. Well, the door is gonna take me to the end of the stage because here is Miss Pac-Man, and all Pac-Man friends / family has been rescued up to this point. On that chest there was just something that refills my health, but I get a full restore once I rescue every friend. So it's fine. You know, Pacman's there, last stage of the game. Now we're gonna be facing Pacman. Again, Japanese is really easier because for the hits that we need to make first this to this guy, we need to use just 6 pack dots. On international releases you need to use 10. But I think on the PAL version we can also use 6, I don't remember exactly. And at the same time there are no ghosts on this stage. On the Japanese release. Fun fact, the movement with the zigzag is faster on the PAL version, but the reason why it's not used on speedrunning is because it looks like some of the out of bounds stuff were patched because Joester98, the actual world record holder for all the categories of this game, tried to get all of those stuff on the PAL version, but he wasn't able to do it. And as we make enough damage to Pacman, some magnets are gonna be activated, and I'm gonna force him to be on the middle of the stage so we can make him some damage. So now he's gonna start to spawn on the floor, and if we are on the floor at the same time that he bounces, we're gonna receive damage later. We need to press these switches and avoid all those blinky clones. Also, for some reason Puka is bugged, so it's buggy, so it's not gonna give you any extra piece of health. Rarely it gives you some pieces of health. Like on my practice I got some health from him. I don't know why that happened, but it happened. So now this is the last phase. Now he's gonna try to dash against us. So I need to get some distance away from him, otherwise he's gonna start to spawn. What I want is that I want him on this phase when he's trying to dash. The time is gonna finish after the last hit. And fine. Dude, this wasn't my best run, but it was kinda decent in some way.
Everything. Nobody loves a ghost.
And that was awesome. The ghost behind Pacman. And this is not the real ending of the game. We need to get 100% in order to get the real ending. And it looks like my game has crashed. As I said before, my PS2 is not in a good condition, so it was a miracle that I was able to play. Okay, it just took long to read. It hasn't crashed. But here it says that I have 70% complete. On Japanese releases, the percentage works different. So what I haven't got here were all the Pac-Man letters. I haven't completed the marathon mode. I haven't unlocked all the mazes. So that's the way you get 100% of the game and you unlock the real ending, where you just get some outtakes about it. The cutscenes of the game, but well, basically this was a Pac-Man world. This wasn't my best, but I tried to do something. I really appreciate the GGs on the chat, and I hope that you have enjoyed this humble run. So, well, I think that I can make a little promotion for me. You can follow me on twitch.tv/unfantasmass, like many people here present the marathon, talking about the technical part. I'm a SpeedGaming volunteer, and also I'm staff from SpeedGaming Español, the Hispanic division of SpeedGaming. But my participation doesn't finish here. I'm gonna be back on Sunday with Snow Brothers, my only scheduled run, where, well, I'm gonna be running Snow Brothers of Stage 1 player with the Sombrero incentive. So, well, I think that this was everything on my side. I'm gonna move straight because we are a bit behind on the schedule. So, see you everybody.
Indeed.
Have a nice day.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate you playing Pac-Man. That was awesome. That was just awesome. It kind of took me back to my childhood. So thank you very
Yeah,
much.
considering the mistakes I got, the run was pretty decent for my standards. So I really liked it. I really like that people have enjoyed this, and yes, this is a blast to the past, definitely. One of my childhood games also, and the first game that I have ever streamed when I began my streaming career.